Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dogs and cats, it's me, Javin Nordell. Welcome back to the Hands Down podcast, where we talk sports hands-free. What a week for sports it has been. It has been such an entertaining week in the sports world. Today we're going to be to the NFL free agency. We've seen a lot of offseason acquisitions, trades, going to be discussing a lot of the big moves we have seen into that. And guys, I've been saying it, baseball is around the corner. Today's the episode we talk about baseball, look into each division and what to expect for this upcoming year. Before I get into this though, I got to give two shout outs. Last week's episode was a basketball only episode. Gonna kind of stay away from basketball this week, but I do gotta shout out Nikola Jokic. Homeboy just had a 30-20-20 game, the first ever in NBA history. 31 points, 22 assists, and 21 rebounds. He is a unicorn, as they say. Shout out Nikola Jokic. And then, guys, I got to give a huge shout out to my friend Dell. She helped me create my new logo. My new logo is absolutely fire. I'm in love with it. Let me know what you guys are thinking on it. So huge shout out to Dell. Go show her some love and support as well. She does music on YouTube and TikTok. So if you guys are interested in that, go give her a like and a follow as well. But today's episode is going to be very entertaining. Football free agency, baseball. Leave a like, leave a comment, and if you're new, subscribe. Let's get into it. The NFL free agency has been phenomenal. It's been bananas. It's been badonkers. You name it, the NFL free agency has been that. So let's talk about it. A couple things before I get into the NFL free agency, though. I am prematurely kind of partially recording this. The new league year technically doesn't start until March 12th. That's 2 days from now. Today is March 10th. But a lot of the big name free agents have already been off the market. They've already mutually agreed to those deals. They just can't sign their contract till the 12th. So if you're seeing this video on the 11th, on the 12th, and you notice I missed some big names, I am recording this as of 2 o'clock on March 10th, so there might be a couple names that I missed, but a lot of the big names have already moved or re-signed with their teams. So yeah, that's number one. Number two, like I said, free agency frenzy is going on. I have it on my TV, so if you see me looking over, if you see me making weird faces, it's also because I'm paying attention to that as well. I know, multitasking at the max, you gotta love it. But if you see me making a weird face or anything like that, or if you see my phone, yeah, because you guys can see my phone, hear my phone do that, that's also NFL breaking news coming in. So you might see me looking around. That's just me paying attention to NFL news. Nonetheless, let's talk about the NFL free agency. There's been so much. I don't even know where to start. A lot has happened. Trades, signings, re-signings. I think the best way to address it is, like I said, I'm not going to be able to get obviously into every move. There's been a lot of moves. A lot of teams have made a lot of minor signings here and there. I'm mainly going to be talking about the major signings, some team signings. I'm going to try to address every team, but we're going to kind of go in a rapid pace. But I'm going to do it by divisions. So we're going to start in the AFC. Let's start with the AFC North. That includes the Bengals. That includes the Ravens, that includes the Steelers, and that includes the Browns. Steelers, first team up. They made a trade with the Seattle Seahawks to acquire DK Metcalf. They traded away a second-round pick to bring in DK, and then after getting DK, they instantly signed him to a 5-year, $150 million extension, and I absolutely love this for Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh has not had that 1A type of player since Antonio Brown, since Le'Veon Bell. They've not had that offensive threat ever since Antonio Brown, and now I understand DK's older. He might not be the type of player that he was, but he still can produce. He still can have your opposing quarterback line up on him, so George Pickens could potentially go off. And George Pickens is already a great receiver. He's a deep ball threat, and I think he's about to have a breakout year now that he has DK Metcalf lining up on the other side of him. That the Steelers wide receiver room just got significantly better, and you might say a second round pick is a little high for it, but the Steelers haven't had an identity offensively since Antonio Brown. Mike Tomlin is a great defensive coach. He's always just kind of been in the middle of the pack. He always has a winning season, but then usually gets bounced by the Ravens in the playoffs. And I'm glad that they finally made something non-defensively. The Steelers' identity is their defense, and now that they have the threat of DK Metcalf on their team, it's amazing. Now, I do have questions on who their quarterback is going to be. Are they going to bring back Russell Wilson and reunite Russell Wilson and DK Metcalf? That's a possibility. Russell Wilson has connections with DK there, so chemistry there, so we could see that. Aaron Rodgers is a big name out there that kind of the Steelers are inked to right now, and low-key, I wouldn't mind seeing Aaron Rodgers, DK Metcalf. But I am a little concerned on who is going to be throwing DK Metcalf and George Pickens the ball, but I think the Steelers will make it work. They always do. The Steelers cooked on this one. I will say I'm a little intrigued on how the number 14 is going to go, because that's DK Metcalf's number, right? And we all know who DK is, right? But George Pickens is like a menace to society, and he also has number 14. I wonder if he's willingly going to give that up to DK, if DK is going to choose a new number. I'm kind of curious how that's going to work between those two. But Steelers getting DK Metcalf, absolutely love that for the Steelers. The Ravens haven't really done much. I think they re-signed their left tackle to a 3-year deal, so that's cool for the Ravens. The Cincinnati Bengals are trying to pull the Dallas Mavericks on their franchise and just not know what they're doing. They franchise tagged T. Higgins for the 2nd year in a row. T. Higgins wants to, I feel like he wants to stay in Cincinnati. Joe Burrow has been adamant about keeping that core of Higgins and Chase together, and that ownership, I just feel like they don't necessarily want to do the best football move. It's about money, and they don't want to pay a man too much money, even though he's worth that amount of money. I have a feeling that T. Higgins might hold out to start the season, because I don't see a deal getting placed and done, but I also wouldn't be shocked if they traded him before the season started, and another team gave him that deal, or if they traded him kind of mid-season because they don't want to pay him. And it sucks, because T. Higgins came out and he proved it with his last year deal on the franchise and said, okay, hey, if you want me to have a prove-it year, I'll have a prove-it year. He battled some injuries, but he still had a really good year, and they tagged him again. So it sucks. And then defensive end Trey Hendrickson, now he wants a bag, and Bengals don't want to pay him that bag either, surprisingly, shockingly. So now they allowed him to seek a trade partner and see if there's a deal that he can find that way. So him and his agent are looking in that. And I mean, that sucks. I think the Bengals are one of the best teams that can take down the Kansas City Chiefs, obviously outside of the Eagles, because the Eagles already did it. But Joe Burrow and the Bengals are usually the team that gives Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs a run for their money. And it just sucks that they have these players. They can retain them, but they're choosing not to pay them that money. And I mean, your window is now. I mean, if you're Joe Burrow, your Super Bowl window is always, I guess, as long as he's there. But you gotta help out the man to make them win now, before he gets older. But we'll see what the Bengals do. Maybe when you guys watch this, they have extended or paid one of the two guys. I doubt it, but we'll see. And then, you know how I talked about a couple weeks ago, Myles Garrett requesting a trade from the Cleveland Browns? Also, you know how I said it could be one of two things. It could be he wanted to go to a contender, play for a championship contending team, and that's what he came out and said. He wanted to be part of a winning organization. The goal was always to win a Super Bowl, so he wanted to go to a franchise that could give him the best chance at winning a Super Bowl. But the NFL is a business at the end of the day. We all know it's about money. I said this could be a contract move to see if the Browns could pay him and how much the Browns could pay him. And one thing I'm kind of shocked by is why didn't he just not go ask the Browns for that money? Because, I mean, he's a franchise player. The Browns are going to give him the money anyway. But the Browns, instead of trading Myles Garrett, no, they re-signed him. They extended him to, it was a massive, I think it was $123 million guaranteed, $40 million annually. He's the highest paid non-quarterback now, surpassing Mad Max Crosby, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But yeah, and I like this for loyalty wise. I like that Myles Garrett is coming back to Cleveland. Cleveland does have a lot of questions. Who's going to run their quarterback room? Are they going to bring famous Jameis Winston back? Are they going to bring in Kirk Cousins? Do they bring in an Aaron Rodgers? Deshaun Watson isn't going to play much, if not at all, next season after he tore his Achilles. So we'll see what happens there. And I mean, they have $230 million that they guaranteed Watson, so they have a lot of money invested into Deshaun Watson. So as far as the Browns organization, I like that Garrett is re-signing there, staying loyal to the team. But I mean, if he's talking about winning and wanting to win, I just don't know if Cleveland is the place to win. I mean, maybe they need to bring Baker back. He brought him to the playoffs, right? But that's the major things that have happened in the AFC North. The AFC West, which includes the Jets, the Patriots, the Dolphins, and the Bills. Let's start with the Bills, because they paid their quarterback. They paid Josh Allen a 6-year. They extended him. They extended him 6 years, $330 million. I think it said $250 million guaranteed. I mean, Josh Allen deserves it. He's been the franchise player, the one of the best players in their franchise. It's the MVP. Like kudos to Josh for getting his bag, $330 million. So that is a lot of fucking money. The Jets have went out. Obviously, they released Aaron Rodgers before the season started. They released Devontae Adams, which we always knew was happening. They was trying to make one last push with Devontae and Aaron, and it just was abysmal. It didn't work out. But the Jets still have a very competent roster. They still have a Breece Hall. They still have a Garrett Wilson. They still have Sauce Gardner on the defensive side of the ball. Like, the Jets have a good roster. It's just, I think it's their ownership, and their ownership in specific. I really like them bringing in Aaron Glenn, a defensive-minded coach. There's been a lot of speculation that, oh, by the way, the Commanders just traded for Laramie Tunsil. So that's other breaking news. That was what came up on my phone, but I wasn't able to read it. It's on the TV now. But Laramie Tunsil, Commander. Anyhow, going back to the Jets. They have a good roster. I like Aaron Glenn coming in. Defensive-minded coach, I think, is what the Jets needed. A lot of people have been saying they needed an offensive-minded coach. It wasn't necessarily the right decision. They've already came and failed with defensive-minded coaches. They have, but I disagree. I think Aaron Glenn really can turn this around. It all just comes down to Woody and their ownership. I mean, the fact that he was trusting his boys, like, that's like if my dad or my grandpa was in ownership of a team and he called me up, it's like, hey, Javid, I have, we could make a trade for Jerry Jeudy. But do you think he should? Do we think we should do that? And I'm like, I don't know, Dad or Gramps. I play a lot of Madden, and on Madden, Jerry Jeudy's rating isn't that high. Maybe go get a Mike Williams, because that's practically what happened last year. And it just really sucks when that's the ownership you kind of get. And nothing against, like, I get it, kids being involved, that's cool. I like that Woody Johnson can do that, but, like, it's an NFL business at the end of the day. We can't put, Madden is realistic, but Madden is not realistic. We can't be putting Madden to things like this because that's just absolutely bananas. So I hope Aaron Glenn can kind of turn their identity and culture around outside of that, but it's that ownership that's holding the Jets back a lot. But they did bring in Justin Fields to run their quarterback this year. They signed him to a 2-year, $40 million deal, and I love this. It's absolutely amazing. Justin Fields was a quarterback, either him or Kirk Cousins. If they wanted kind of a Kirk prove-it deal, 1-year deal, I was saying Kirk Cousins. If not, Justin Fields was the guy I wanted them to go get. I think Fields is going to flourish in the Jets offense. He's actually going to have a chance to be another starter. The Bears organization has always been, it's a better organization now, and they have a competent team now, but the Bears organization's not been the best for quarterbacks recently. I mean, we even saw that with rookie year Caleb. And then Justin Fields was 4-2 on the Steelers as a starter, was doing really well, and Russ came back, and they gave him the starting nod, and Russ was pretty decent his first 3-4 weeks, but then he kind of tanked the season, and it kind of sucked for Justin Fields, because I was hoping the Steelers was going to put him back in the starting lineup, kind of give him a chance, and he performed. He went 4-2, so I'm really excited to see what Justin Fields can do with the Jets. I love that move for the Jets. The Dolphins, that they haven't really, at least that I've heard of, Dolphins haven't really done much this offseason yet. Tyreek Hill requested a trade, but didn't really request a trade. I think they're in good standing now, so we'll see what happens with that, but Dolphins haven't really done much. Patriots had the most money coming into this offseason, coming into this free agency. They had $125 million to spend. They just got Mike Vrabel as their new head coach, and they've spent some money. They went and got Milton Williams from the Eagles. He had 2 sacks, I believe, in the Super Bowl. They got him for 4 years, $104 million. And then they also went out and got more defensive help, getting Carlton Davis for 3 years, $60 million. Established an identity there. Josh McDaniels is back to run their offense there. I'm excited to see what the Patriots can do. I think Mike Vrabel is going to work wonders with that team. I don't think they're going to be up there enough to contend with the Bills yet, but that's a step in the right direction. Drake May is going to, we'll see what they do offensively. Going into the AFC South, outside of Laramie Tunsil getting traded now, because that just came in, the AFC South has been pretty minor. We saw Christian Kirk get traded from the Jaguars to the Texans for like a 7th round pick or something like that. Braxton Berrios signed a 2-year $1 million deal with the Texans, so now I don't expect Diggs to come back, so I'm eager to see where Diggs goes, but their new receiving core is going to be Nico Collins, it's going to be Christian Kirk, it's going to be Braxton Berrios, unless you run him as your 4 option, because Tank Dell, I don't know if he's going to play much next year. He had surgery. Texans have kind of done a couple minor deals here. Jaguars haven't really done much that I've seen that's shocked the world. AFC South hasn't really done. The Colts did a couple minor things, but nothing major. No big names, obviously, out there. Unless I'm missing one, I'm a casual. I'm sorry if you're a Colts, Texans, Titans fan. My bad. AFC West, it all started with the Chargers. They released Joey Bosa. There's some speculation that the Niners might get Joey Bosa and put the Bosa brothers together. I would kind of like to see that. That'd be pretty cool. Outside of that, we saw the big thing, the Raiders. They obviously brought in Pete Carroll to coach their team. I love that. He's going to establish a culture. He's going to find their identity, and they're going to establish a foundation, which is absolutely needed. They brought in Chip Kelly to run their offense. I absolutely love that for him. Chip Kelly had a decent NFL tenure. He was 20-12. He went 10-6 both season as the Philadelphia Eagles head coach. He got bounced in the playoffs both times, and I think, well, that's the reason he got canned, but I think we judged him too quickly because he was with the Oregon Ducks and Marcus Mariota, and he had really good collegiate success, and I think a lot of us was expecting him to have that collegiate success in the NFL, and he didn't, so I think we bounced him too quick for that. I'm excited to see what he can come back and how he can do on that. And then Pete Carroll traded for a familiar foe. They brought in Geno Smith. They traded for Geno Smith to be their new quarterback, and I love that. I thought they was going to go out and get Sam Darnold, and they had a lot of money to spend, but instead they decided to pay Mad Max Crosby. They gave him a 3-year, $106 million extension, and then they went out and got Geno Smith. I think Geno Smith is a better quarterback than Sam Darnold, so I like that move for the Raiders because you reunite him with Pete Carroll. He's going to know Pete's system very well. He has some decent receiving core. I mean, he had a better receiving core in Seattle, obviously, but he has Brock Bowers. He has a safety net tight end that he never had in Seattle, so I'm excited to see how he can play with that there. And the Raiders and Tom Brady, they got something cooking. I like what they're cooking. That AFC West, though, is a very, very competent division. You got the Broncos in that division. You got the Chargers in that division. And obviously the Chiefs in that division. It's going to be very competitive in that division. And I don't know if the Raiders can make that jump to compete with those guys this year, but they're on that way. So I like what the Raiders have done there. Denver, they sneakily added a good player to their defense. Denver always have had a great defense, and they went out and got Hufanga, safety from the Niners, 3 years, $45 million deal. I love that for them. The Broncos defense have always been nasty, like I said, and now you add in this guy who he's going to be a vocal on that defense with PS2, who's just Defensive Player of the Year. I love this for the Broncos. Bo Nix is going to have a better sophomore season, I think, and getting him some defensive help. I like that for the Broncos. Kansas City hasn't really done much. They brought back, obviously, Nick Bolin. They brought back Hollywood, which I wasn't surprised by. Hollywood, they signed to a 1-year deal last year, and he never was really able to play because he tore his ACL in preseason. He came back towards the end of the season, but didn't really have a chance to flourish. I'm really excited to see what Pat Mahomes and Hollywood Brown can do together. I'm hoping year 2 of this goes better. I'm not shocked to see him return. Then they traded away Joe Thuney to the Bears, which we'll talk about a little bit later, and they got some O-line help, kind of, but like I said, if you trade Thuney away, and which I understand is financial, you couldn't really pay all the guys you had, so you had to get cheaper, so it makes sense, but they technically decreased they brought some value back, but decreased their offensive line as a whole. But that's the AFC sides of things. Like I said, absolutely crazy, absolutely bananas what's going on, and that's just the AFC side. Guys, the NFC has been just as crazy. There's been a lot of crazy moves that's happened at the NFC side. So let's jump into the NFC East. That's the Eagles, that's the Cowgirls, that's the Commanders, and that's the Giants. The Eagles, they went out and they re-signed. They had a great roster, obviously, just winning the Super Bowl. They obviously couldn't keep everybody. They had Milton Williams. They lost in free agency to the Patriots. We talked about that. We'll talk about it a little bit later. They lost Josh Sweat to the Cardinals, but that they couldn't retain everybody they had. But the people they did retain, I think they made the right decisions in. You already had defensive line help in Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter, so I think it's okay that you let those two people walk. You obviously couldn't have paid them. They extended Saquon, made him one of the highest, or if not the highest paid running back, and he deserved that. All he did was ball out, have 2,000 yards. Like Saquon deserved that payday. It was crazy the deal he got before. He was averaging annually like $13 million. Obviously, still a lot of money, but like NFL wise, Saquon wise, production wise, $13 million was insane. So got a good little extension there, makes him the new highest paid running back. And then they re-signed Zach Bond to a 3-year, $57 million deal. I like that for them. Zach Zach Bond had a breakout year, and he was the vocal point of that defense, really good in the center of that defense. Really like what Philadelphia did there. The Cowgirls, they restructured Dak Prescott's deal to save $36 million in cap, but as you guys know, it's Jerry's world, and we're just living in it. My assumption is they're going to use that money to eventually pay Micah Parsons. I don't really see them going out and getting a free agent marquee acquisition. They might go out and get like a Martin Dingo for a 4th-round pick, type shit, but I don't really see them going out and spending that money. They're just probably going to save it to give Micah Parsons the biggest payday ever. I mean, we just saw Myles Garrett get $40 million annually. Micah Parsons is probably going to get 50, right? Okay, probably 45, but he's going to get a bag. So Cowgirls haven't really done much. The Commies, the Commanders, they've done a lot. They traded for Deebo Samuel. They traded a 5th-round pick for Deebo Samuel. I love that. Giving Jaden Daniels some help for his 2nd year. I like that. And then they've also brought back Zach Ertz, giving him that safety net. I love that for them. They brought back Bobby Wagner. They just, as I said, made a trade for Laramie Tunsil at the beginning of this video, so I love the protection that they're giving Jaden Daniels for his sophomore season. They've done a lot there, like what they're doing. Their team just made it to the NFC Conference Championship. They played really good football. Jaden Daniels is only going to get better, I think. I'm really hoping he doesn't have that CJ Stroud type of season in where he falls off his 2nd year. But I think what they've done, bringing in this Deebo Samuel, he was kind of a wreck in San Francisco. It was a breakup that wasn't going well, and it just was very dramatic, and it was so much drama filled. I like this new change. I don't necessarily think Deebo is going to be as bad as he was in San Francisco. I don't necessarily think he also has that step that he had in San Francisco, but I like the receiving core that you have. Scary Terry McLaurin, Deebo Samuel, and then Zacchaeus or Luke McCaffrey, whoever you kind of run out as that 3. I like what they got going on there. The Giants, they're kind of just existing. I have a lot of questions for the Giants franchise right now because they had a deal in place where I think the Giants had agreed onto it. I'm pretty sure the Rams had agreed onto it. Just the only person who didn't was Matt Stafford in a trade that would have involved a 3rd pick and future draft compensation. And I mean, it would have been cool to see Matt Stafford in the Giants. But I think the Giants are trying to like quickly change their franchise, and Brian Daboll's trying to save his job, and they're so much down in a pit hole right now that 1 year, 1 free agency signing, 1 off season is not going to fix your franchise. I understand the Commanders turned around their franchise last year in 1 year, but I don't think that's something the Giants can do. Obviously, your quarterback is a big question. You don't know what's going on there. I think they should draft a quarterback, whoever falls to them at 3, whether that be Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward. Most likely is going to be Shedeur. You draft Shedeur at 3. I think that's your best move, and you embrace a rebuild. As much as Brian Daboll wants to save his job, my guy, you probably will get another head coaching opportunity at some point. I don't think you're going to be able to save your career here, though. 1 season's not going to do it. Bringing in a Matt Stafford, I don't think would have done it. So, I think they need to embrace their rebuild, draft, and go from there. And if Brian Daboll has a good year, cool. Maybe they give him some sympathy, let him continue coaching. And if not, I mean, fully embrace it, bring in a new coaching staff. That's I think what the Giants need to do. The NFC North, Chicago has went out and Chicago has done some things. I like what Chicago is doing. Last offseason, obviously, Chicago went all in for Caleb Williams. They gave him all the offensive weapons that he needed, bringing in a Keenan Allen, bringing in a DJ Moore, bringing in Roman Dunze in the draft as well. And that was cool. He had offensive weapons. He just didn't have time to do it. I mean, he was sacked, I think, the most times in all of football last year. He was looking like Joe Burrow's offensive line out there. And he needed some offensive line help. And that's exactly what the Bears have went out and did. They've got 3 new offensive linemen. They made a trade with the Chiefs to get Joe Thuney. They signed Jonah Jackson from the Rams. And the third one they did here is they went out and got Drew Dalman. I believe he was the Falcons center last year. So they've shored up their O-line. Hopefully they can protect Caleb this year because God knows that Caleb needs it. But I'm excited to see what Caleb can do with the actual offensive line, see what he can do with the receiving corps that he has. He's still going to have DJ Moore. He's still going to have Roman Dunze out there. Might still have Keenan Allen. We'll see what the Bears choose to do with him. But I'm excited to see what Caleb Williams can do with a good offensive line and that. And then they also they made a trade for Grady Jarrett. I'm pretty sure is what I read or saw as I'm recording this. So I like that. Obviously they brought in Ben Johnson to coach their team this year, bringing in an offensive identity and to really hopefully flourish Caleb Williams' career. And they went out and they still got some defensive help. So I like what Chicago's gotten over there. Detroit hasn't really done much. I'm intrigued to see what Detroit can do because obviously last year you had Dan Campbell, you had Aaron Glenn, and you had Ben Johnson all on your coaching staff. This year it's only going to be Dan Campbell. I'm intrigued to see how their offensive defense is going to play with new coordinators. They lost Carlton Davis to the Patriots in free agency. They replaced him with DJ Reed. Obviously Carlton Davis is the better corner, but I mean, you needed a replacement. I can't argue with DJ Reed there. Minnesota hasn't really done much. This division outside of the Bears hasn't really done much either. Minnesota brought back Aaron Jones, and then Green Bay has been non-existent thus far. I haven't really read of anything that Green Bay's done major, at least. The NFC South has been interesting. It's been rather quiet. The Buccaneers are the team that's made the most move. They went out and they got Hassan Reddick. They re-signed Chris Godwin to a 3-year deal. And outside of that, we haven't really seen much. The Panthers made J.C. Horn the highest paid corner. I think they gave him $70 million guaranteed, $100 million contract. J.C. Horn's been a dog. He deserves that contract. My favorite team, the Saints, they came out and they said, we're going to stick with Derek Carr. We're using our used car once again. And I don't know how to feel about it, as I think we should fully embrace our rebuild, and maybe that's what we are doing by fully embracing our rebuild, is bringing back Derek Carr. It's just interesting. It's not that Derek Carr's a bad quarterback. He's not an awful quarterback. He's just not a good quarterback. He throws some very questionable balls. I mean, when the Saints are healthy, they was a fun team. I mean, it was the 2 best weeks of my life, seeing them drop back-to-back 40 points on the Panthers and the Cowgirls to start the season. But then they just lost everything from there. So if they're healthy, they're semi. Like I enjoy watching them, but as a Saints fan, it's hard. But they restructured Carr's deal to save about 30 mil, something like that, 25 mil, 30 mil in cap space, and we need that. I mean, coming into this offseason, we was $62 million over the cap. So I like that we're at least trying to save money. But I mean, we already lost Paulson Adebo in free agency. I don't know how much of a competent roster we can have bringing Derek Carr back, so we'll see. And then the Falcons haven't really added anybody. They've just kind of subtracted people. It's going to be interesting to see what they do, because obviously Michael Penix Jr. took over the starting job late in his rookie season. And just last year, you gave Kirko Chains 4-year, $180 million. Do you cut? Do you tie ways with Kirko Cousins? And do you fully embrace Michael Penix? Or do you say, hey, Penix is our guy, but because we paid Kirk $180 million, we're maybe going to keep him on the bench just in case if Penix doesn't have that second year that we expect him to have, or in case if there's an injury? I'm intrigued to see what the Falcons do there. The NFC West has been another intriguing division too, because we saw Geno Smith get traded to the Raiders, like I mentioned before, and then the big question was who was going to be their quarterback, and they brought in Sam Darnold to be their quarterback. And I was a little shocked by this, because I thought Sam Darnold was either going to go to stay with Minnesota or he was going to the Raiders. I thought the Raiders were going to offer him a shit ton of money, so I thought he's either going to get in his bag or he's going to stay where he's already proven that he can win and has been a winner. But the Seahawks need a quarterback, obviously, after trading Geno Smith, and they go get a guy that Clint Kubiak, their new offensive coordinator, by the way, is very familiar with. Clint Kubiak, who was the OC of the Saints last year, he was the quarterback coach of the San Francisco 49ers the year that Sam Darnold was the third-string quarterback there. And so he's got some familiar ties there. He knows how to run his offense. It's a very familiar scheme that he ran with Minnesota last year. So it propels Sam Darnold to be the best type of quarterback that he can be. So I like this move. I was very shocked about what Seattle was doing, because obviously you traded Geno Smith away and then you didn't have a quarterback, and then you trade DK Metcalf. Granted, it was for a second-round pick, but you traded DK Metcalf, and I'm like, okay, are they fully embracing a rebuild? What are we doing? And then I heard there was some speculation about them getting Sam Darnold, and I like that they did get him in, but who's he going to be throwing the ball to? Obviously, they have JSN that can throw the ball to, but they traded DK. You cut Tyler Lockett, so and then you don't have a tight end like a TJ Hockey Sox, or obviously the Justin Jefferson that Sam Darnold had. So I'm intrigued to see who Seattle brings in offensively, potentially to help Sam Darnold with that. But I don't hate the move of them bringing in Sam Darnold. It was a 3-year, $100.5 million deal, so he still did get his payday, even though the last 2 games of the season he kind of was a $sign, but he still got his payday. The Rams, like I said, they had a trade in place for Matthew Stafford, but Stafford didn't really like the trade, didn't make sense for him, and I'm glad that it didn't, because I'm like, the Rams Super Bowl window is now. I don't understand why they wanted to go away from it, and why you would trade your quarterback away who just led you to the playoffs and was a drive away from beating the Eagles in the divisional, and they restructured, brought Stafford back. I like that. The questionable move I have for the Rams is you have Puka Nacua as your new wide receiver, obviously, and you're fully embracing having him wide receiver 1, but you go out and you seek a trade partner for Cooper Kupp, and then you say if you can't find one, you're probably going to cut him. And Cooper Kupp has done a lot for that franchise. I mean, Sean McVay came on. I believe he was on, I was either Barstool Sports or the Pat McAfee show, one of the two. I forget which one. But he was talking about just how great of a player Cooper Kupp was, but that they probably wasn't going to bring him back. And it just didn't make sense as a business because, again, the NFL is a business at the end of the day. And I just was like, okay, cool. Then they brought in Davante Adams on 2 years. And I'm just like, okay, so you don't bring back Cooper Kupp because you want to get younger, you want to get someone else, and you replace him with bringing in an aging Davante Adams. I like the move. I like that Matt Stafford is going to be able to throw the ball to Davante and Puka, but I'm just like, it didn't make sense to get rid of Cooper Kupp just to bring in Davante Adams. Now, if this was Packers Davante Adams, okay, I could see that, but this is not. This is Jets Davante Adams we're talking about. So I found that one a little bit interesting. Arizona, they just as I started this video, they signed Josh Sweat. They gave him a bag. They gave him 4 years, $76 million. Like that for Josh Sweat. He kind of had proved himself. Well, I mean, he's always been good, but he really proved himself in Philadelphia. And Arizona, they're a team that they started off this season pretty good. Kyler Murray was playing good football. And I'm almost to the point, though, where I'm like, how much more am I going to give Kyler the benefit of the doubt? Because I'm like, give him a better defense. Give him some receiving corps. Give him something. And, like, Kyler's a good quarterback. And, like, Kyler is a good quarterback. But I'm like, Kyler had DeAndre Hopkins. Kyler had Marvin Harrison Jr. last year. Kyler's had some decent defenses over the past years. And, I mean, you could maybe argue it's coaching. But I'm just like, maybe. And I'm a big Kyler fan. So I'm not saying this to hate on Kyler. Either maybe Kyler's the problem or Arizona's just not good at having quarterbacks because I don't know how much more I can say. Give Kyler time. But I like this move for Arizona, getting Josh Sweat, 4 years, $76 million. That's a good move for the Cardinals. I like that. Outside of that, the 49ers are the other team in that division. They haven't really done much. There's some speculation they might go out and get Joey Bosa. I would like to kind of see the Bosa brothers come back. I don't know. We'll see on that. But like I said, this NFL free agency, absolutely bananas. This is just day 1, too. I mean, league year hasn't even started. That doesn't start till the 12th. If this is what this NFL season is going to be, boy, oh boy, do we have a treat in place. I am beyond excited. Guys, today is the episode. Baseball is so back, and I could not be more excited. Obviously, it's only spring training. Regular season hasn't yet started, but baseball is one of my favorite sports. Baseball reminds me of two things. I'm a really big chess player. I love playing chess because it's a mind game. It's a strategy, and then I love fishing. I love going outdoors and fishing. And baseball kind of reminds me like of a mixture of the two games because it's a mind game that you have to play. It's a strategy game all throughout. And it's a time-consuming game. Obviously, 9 innings. You play 162 games a year, but 9 innings. It's something that like you gotta. It's the saying you gotta be playing chess, not checkers. That's baseball for you. And then fishing. Fishing takes time. I mean, you can go out there, you can catch 7 fish in one day, or you can go out same spot and only catch 2 fish. Like that's the same thing in baseball. You can go out score 10 runs in a game. Very next game you could get shut out. You could only score 1 run. But that is the excitement. That is the joy of baseball. I love watching the strategies. And then just the overall. I was reading this thing and I found this interesting. If an NBA player has like a bad game, like if a LeBron James, if a Kevin Durant, if a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, if a Nikola Jokic were to have a bad game or they didn't even get 10 points or something like that, we're like, whoa. Like the other team did something right, or what happened with that player? What did they do wrong? And we judge them so hardcore and we critique them so much. But in baseball, like it's natural. Like we've seen Shohei Ohtani go over 4 strikeouts in a game, and that's a typical thing. We also know that Shohei Ohtani can go 4 for 4 with 4 homers in a game, but it's not out of the realm of possibilities if Shohei Ohtani goes over 4 with 4 strikeouts. And I found that interesting. I'm like, that's a really good point. Like baseball stars get treated very differently, and it's Ocho Cinco said it best. Because there's been some speculation with Travis Hunter coming into the league. He wanted to play both sides of the ball, and he said, like playing both sides is like the two hardest things in the, Ocho Cinco said this. The two hardest things in the world is keeping a girl happy and hitting a baseball, especially when it's coming 100 miles per hour. I could not agree more. Off tangent rant really quick, but like when you are in that batter's box and a ball is coming at you at 100 miles per hour, and then he can throw a changeup at 70 miles per hour. Like, you never know what's coming as a baseball player. It is damn near one of the hardest things to do. I don't think there is many NBA or NFL guys that could be successful outside of Kyler Murray, shout out Kyler Murray, because he got drafted number 9 to the A's. Outside of that, though, like there's not many that can be, and that's just another reason why baseball is so entertaining. I love watching these pitchers go out, see what they can do, how deep they can go into a game. Or if I'm a Braves fan. I love like the Braves offense, not last year but the year before. They had a really good offense, had the most runs scored, the most home runs, the most doubles. Like when you have offensive powerhouses like that, it's just so fun and it's so entertaining. Baseball is so back, and I could not be more excited. So let's talk about my expectations for baseball this year. I'm just going to go quickly through the divisions, who I expect to win the division, and player to kind of look out for, or some offseason moves that they've done. Let's start out in, I think, the most dominant division in all of baseball, AL and NL included, and that is the AL East. The AL East has the New York Yankees, has the Boston Red Sox, has the Tampa Bay Rays, and the Baltimore Orioles, and the Toronto Blue Jays. And the crazy thing about that, all of those teams have competent enough rosters where they could make the playoffs. The Rays somehow always find a way to be a good team. They never have like the roster that like stands out and has that 1A type player, but the Rays always play fundamental baseball, and they always find a way to somehow be there in October. The Blue Jays obviously have Vladimir Guerrero for now. They've had a good offense over there, George Springer, Bo Bichette. Like, the Blue Jays have a good team, but I don't see the Rays and the Blue Jays going too far. The three teams that I see going far is Boston, is New York, and Baltimore. Baltimore obviously just won the division, got better. Jackson Holiday is going to come in. He's going to play short or second. You got Heston, however you say his face. He can play third. He can play second, wherever you put him. And then Gunnar Henderson, he can play third. He can play short, wherever you put him. Adley Rutschman, you have him behind the plate. I love what the Orioles are doing. They've kind of been the laughingstock of the league in the past 3 to 5 years. And then this past 1 to 3 years, their prospects have came up. And they had a really good pitching staff last year. They don't have a Corbin Burns this year, but they still have a decent pitching staff. I'm excited to see what the Orioles can do, but I think this division is going to be a good old rivalry between the Yankees and the Red Sox. I'm a little biased. The Red Sox are my second favorite, so I'm an Angel and a Red Sox fan on the AL side, Braves fan on the NL side. So I'm a little biased. I think the Red Sox are going to win the division. But the Yankees have a really good roster. I can't complain with that. But the Red Sox, they went out this year. They got Garrett Crochet. You signed Alex Bregman. There's been some speculation with Devers, because Devers doesn't want to move from third base. And I don't blame Devers. The Red Sox have been his team. In my opinion, how dare Alex Bregman come over and try to take his position? And there's been some speculation. You can say like Devers should want to do whatever he can to win and do. But like, at least try it out. Let's see how Devers said he was going to come back and be better than ever at third base. Let's see how Devers is. Give him the what I said is give him the spring to do so. Maybe if he doesn't, okay, mid-season or even before the season starts, you make that move, you DH Devers, you move him to first, and then you have Bregman play third. Okay, we can live with that. But I mean, Bregman came into this team. You can't really expect to come into a team and take someone's position unless you're significantly better. And while I understand Bregman might be defensively better than Devers, I don't think he's offensively better than Devers. And Devers has been the core of that franchise for the last little bit. So I don't hate that Devers said what he said. And I mean, we already can see Bregman playing at second. We'll see how he does there. But I really like what Boston's going on there. Devers, Bregman, you brought in Garrett Crochet. Alex Cora is their skipper there. I like what they got going on there. Jarren Duran had a really good breakout year last year, but I will say the Yankees have a pretty stacked roster. You missed out on Juan Soto because you only offered him $760 million, and you replaced Juan Soto with a Cody Bellinger, with a Paul Goldschmidt, with a Max Fried. Like they bolstered their team. The Yankees got a really good team. The Yankees are probably going to win that division in all honesty, but I would like to see the Red Sox give them a run for their money. As a Braves fan, it is sad to see Mad Max go over there. I can't know if I can call him Mad Max because there's Max Scherzer, and I think Max Scherzer gets that title. But it's sad to see Max Fried go over there. But the Yankees have done some stuff. Getting Max Fried, and then they got Devin Williams. They lifted their beard ban so Verdugo can grow his beard back. Devin Williams, after complaining about it, can grow his beard back. Garrett Cole, which word came today that he's not going to start the season. I think he has some sort of injury, so get well soon. But Garrett Cole can grow the beard back. Aaron Judge is going to be mashing homers with a beard. Giancarlo Stanton, though, is also going to be out for a little bit. But I mean, there was this thing I saw. Giancarlo Stanton, like for the past 3 to 5 years, has started the season on the IL or something, but he always comes back when it matters most, and then he mashes in October. So as long as Giancarlo Stanton can do that for you, we're solid there. We're good. The AL Central is interesting. Not much happened. Kansas City kind of got older. Bobby Witt Jr., I expect him to have a really good year. Cleveland traded a couple of their players away. They traded Josh Naylor to the Diamondbacks and stuff like that. Minnesota is kind of my dark horse for that division, and not really a dark horse. They still kind of have the core of their team. I think that's both of the Central divisions in the AL and the NL, I think, are the most wide open divisions. I wouldn't be mad. I mean, Detroit, I wouldn't be mad with anybody, whoever wins those divisions. There's not really like a standout, like obviously Cleveland because they have Jose Ramirez, but outside of that, there's not really a standout, and I'm like, oh, they're going to win that division. On the AL West side of things, we have the Angels, we have the Rangers, and the Astros. The Mariners, I think, are going to win that division. The Mariners have such a good roster, such a good pitching rotation. They have arguably the best pitching rotation in all of baseball. The Astros have been division winners for the last little bit, and they kind of had an interesting offseason. You lose Bregman, you traded away Kyle Tucker. The Mariners, the one thing you can kind of benefit the Astros is they didn't go out and they didn't get that offensive player to make them that's like over the hump essentially. But like neither did Houston because they also lost some players. Houston's always just been atop of the division, so we'll see. I think Texas is also going to have a bounce back year this year, having a healthy Corey Seager play the entire year. I expect to see them a lot better this year. I think it's going to be a close race between Texas and Seattle, maybe Houston in there as well, but I expect to see Seattle and Texas and Houston battle it out, but I see Seattle coming on top. In the NL side of things, the NL East it's a three-headed power monster, whatever you want to call it. The Braves, the Phillies, and the Mets. The Braves are my favorite team. Ronald Acuna Jr. comes back in May. I'm excited to see him back fully healthy. We get Spencer Strider back in May as well. Excited to see what he can do another fully healthy season. He's a really dominant pitcher. I get to see him at all much. We got 2 starts to start last year. Obviously, we didn't see much of Acuna. Acuna is one of the funnest players when healthy, and he just makes baseball fun. So I'm excited to see what the Braves obviously can do. We lost a lot of our core players like a Travis d'Arnaud to Ron Washington and the Angels. We brought in Jurickson Profar. He hurt his wrist the other day, but he will be ready for opening day, so I'm happy about that. But it's going to be a fun, exciting division because obviously you have the Phillies. The Phillies, I think, have one of the most complete rosters as well. You also have the Phillies having Bryce Harper. They got Zach Wheeler and their pitching staff. Like, you got Aaron Nola. Like, they got a really good pitching staff. And then the Mets, obviously, bringing in Pete Alonso. Well, bringing back Pete Alonso, I should say. And then bringing in the $765 million marquee free agent Juan Soto. I'm excited to watch that division. It just sucks that the Mets went out and paid $765 million just to lose to the Braves and not even win the division. I mean, it's like the year that the Dodgers spent $400 million and lost to the Braves in the championship series. Granted, they made it to the championship series, but they lost to the championship series. The Braves ended on going to the World Series and winning it all. I just had to shout out my Braves real quick. But I'm excited to watch that division. It's going to be fun. Obviously, as a biased Braves fan, I do think the Braves are going to win that division, and I truthfully think that. I'm not just saying that biasly. Like, I am saying that biasly, but I'm not saying that biasly. I think they have a really good pitching staff. Chris Sale's going to be back this year. We obviously will have Strider once he's healthy. I'm hoping to see Ronaldo Lopez pick up right where he left off last year. So we'll see what they can do there. But I would like to see them maybe go out and trade for Dylan Cease, which I think they've already kind of made a couple trade offers for. I think his asking price is a little much. Or the other guy, Michael King over there. Would like to see them maybe do something. Maybe they do come to trade deadline, but we'll see. But that division, the three-legged race for that is going to be exciting. Like I said, the NL Central is kind of an open book, similar to the AL Central. There's not really a team that stands out. The Cubs went out and they obviously got Kyle Tucker, but then they traded Cody Bellinger. So I'm like, don't really know what the Cubs are doing. The Brewers have kind of been the model of consistency there, but they lost Willy Adames this offseason. The Reds are kind of my dark horse over there. Ellie De La Cruz is going to become better player this year. Watch out for Cincinnati. They kind of played decent ball. They was up and down. They might have a good year, so watch out for Cincinnati maybe. I will say though, Paul Skeens is probably going to win NL Cy Young because homeboy added 2 more pitches. He has a running two-seam fastball that he added, and he adds a cutter. And this is a pitcher. This is a guy who throws a splinker. A fucking splinker. Like, what the fuck is a splinker? And he throws it, and now he adds a running two-seam fastball on a guy who already can throw 100 miles per hour. You add a running two-seam fastball and a cutter. So, like, that's just, shout out Paul Skeens. And then NL West, there's only one thing I gotta say. Dodgers. The Dodgers are, I mean, and it sucks because the NL West, they have some fun teams. The Giants, obviously, Matt Chapman, they went out and they got Willie Adames. Buster Posey came in to run the franchise a little bit there. And the Giants have a fun team. The Padres obviously have Fernando Tatis Jr. They just gave, and what's crazy is they just gave the Dodgers a run for their money, and then they traded away their, like, everybody. And I'm just like, what are we doing? You just were almost there, and now we're trading everybody away? It makes no sense. The Diamondbacks, I think between the Diamondbacks and the Mariners, they're going to have the 2 best pitching staffs in all of baseball. The Mariners have their pitching staff, and then the Diamondbacks brought in Corbin Burns to go with the Merrill Kelly and a Zach Gallen. That's a nasty 1, 2, 3. But when you can defer so much money, and you have Shohei Ohtani, and you have Rohei Sasaki, who you just signed, and then you got in Yashin, that guy, and then you have Freddie Freeman, and you have Mookie Betts, and then you sign Tanner Scott, and you sign Blake Snell, and you have, like, the Dodgers just have it all. It's everybody against the Dodgers this year. That's the way I see it. But I would like to see one of those teams take down the Dodgers. I don't see it happening, but I would like to see one of those teams take down the Dodgers so my almighty Braves don't have to. But baseball is here. I could not be more excited. Like I said, spring training is underway. Regular season is just around the corner, and there is nothing more than nothing more entertaining. Okay, there's a couple of more things that's entertaining, but I get so much entertainment on sitting in my beanbag and watching a 9-inning game for 2.5 to 3 hours. Whether it's a great game or whether it's a mid game, it's all entertaining. I could not be more excited for baseball.